one of the guys that get a lot of credit is Steve Blackman from Muscular Development. I mean, those guys have done an extraordinary job for years and years and years to promote health, to promote fitness, to promote strength, to promote bodybuilding, powerlifting, weightlifting, and all of those kind of things. So the contributions they made is gigantic, and I hail them for that.
Ron Harris here from MuscleElement.com, along with Giles Tiger Thomas, all the way from the UK. That was terrible. I know. Coverage of the Arnold Sports Festival brought to you by High Tech Pharmaceuticals. We just wrapped up Friday night finals here in Columbus, Ohio. We had 4 divisions tonight. We had women's physique, we had classic physique, figure, and fitness. We're going to lead right off with the most popular division for most of our viewers was classic physique. We're going to start at the bottom of the 6th. Ricky Moten, who I've seen before, always impressed, but this guy is getting better and better. The potential in this guy. Condition was not where it needed to be, but good Lord, that's all he's missing right now. Yep. Such full muscle belly, such shape, structure on this guy. I think once he gets the condition down, he's going to be tough.
All he has to do is refine his lower body. That is it. His muscularity in his upper body, so full and round. He's got some beautiful poses, and he's just a bit of a diamond in the rough. But there's a guy that could be top 3 next year. He could even win this in 2 years. Amazing.
5th place from Boston, Massachusetts. What a city. Abner Logan, who just started competing last year, won his pro debut in Tampa. This is only his 3rd pro show, I believe. He did the Olympia and then this. He's about 6'2", very wide clavicles, narrow waist. A work in progress who I think is going to be one of the greats in the year or 2 to come.
Again, I was alerted to this guy by yourself and Chris back in the summer, just before the Tampa show. And met him at the Olympia. I thought he was absolutely fantastic. Tall, wide, small waist. You know, he's just another one, another work in progress. He's another guy that'll be knocking on top 6 of the Olympia in the next year or 2.
Yeah. In 4th place from Miami, Santiago Aragon. Santi, I call him, it's Santiago. From the front, this guy has such a beautiful physique, such round muscle bellies, tiny waist, real capped shoulders, huge delts, huge quads.
Are you sure Santiago was 4th?
Okay, I
don't think he was 4th. I think he was 5th or 6th. I think Santiago was 6th.
Was 6th?
Yeah, we got that wrong.
Well, however he was, he looked great. Sorry, we didn't write it down. We were busy doing other stuff. But the only thing I'd want to see more of on him to advance up the ranks is some back thickness. Because from the front, he's bang on.
Yeah, great posing. Just needs more back thickness. I personally had him 4th, and I thought he was 4th by the way they were calling him out. But great. It reminds me of the early 90s physiques you'd see at the Pro Ironman. You know, those kind of, he's a bit of a throwback, which I guess what the classic class was kind of designed for. Yeah. That kind of late 80s, early 90s.
Like Ben Fado.
Yeah, but with that kind of the kind of aesthetics and the posing that you would have expected from that era.
Okay, so that brings us to 3rd place, Steve Lorius, who was coming into this show as the heavy favorite because he lost this last year by 1 point. It was a very controversial decision to George the Bull Peterson. It was said earlier by George Farrow when he helped us out with the judging wrap-up that all he needed to do is, had he showed up like that, he probably would have won the show. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but he came in bigger, which is good, but the condition was not as crisp as it was last year. And another thing I really would like to see Steve work on is his posing and presentation. A little more polished, a little more confident, because that's something that, you know, the guy I just interviewed, Terrence Ruffin, that's where he slays a lot of these guys. He's such a masterful poser. But I know Steve has to be a little disappointed because, man, he looks phenomenal. He's certain poses he hits, like front double bicep, they're just about flawless.
I was very happy to see that he'd improved his chest and back. I mean, as soon as he came out of the judging, there was more fullness, more thickness. He just wasn't fighting for it. He came out, he was subdued, and I was expecting him to come out tonight a little bit fuller, a little bit crisper, and to be fighting for it. You know, like Brandon Curry was at the judging last year. He just transforms with his attitude and his body language and his fullness and his condition, and I just didn't see it. So tonight, I was thinking, if he could really have sharpened up and filled out, I thought maybe he could have won this. But as he looked tonight, he was a clear 3rd. Yeah. But fantastic. I mean, there's a guy that front double bicep. For me, he's like Terrence. He's a perfect epitome of classic.
We call it the poster boy for classic.
Yes.
So that brings us to the runner-up, 26-year-old Terrence Ruffin, Rough Diesel. Phenomenal physique. I remember the first time I saw him when he won Toronto, I said, once this kid, and he was a kid, he was 24, that's a kid to me. Once this kid puts on a little size, it's over. He's going to start doing very, very well. And I don't think we did an interview, it's on the Ron line, but he put on maybe it's only something like 6 or 7 pounds of stage weight since then, but it made such a difference on his frame and the condition he brought and the posing. Big fan of this kid.
26 years old. Let's say it again, 26. And this guy, I'm so glad he took the year off last year. I interviewed him last night at the meet and greet. It was on MD. And he was one of these guys that always looked amazing by himself, but when you put him next to you could see that he lacked size. He's now 0.2 of a pound under the classic limit. So, and he is, I wasn't blown away by his posing tonight.
Really?
No, it wasn't as good as his Toronto 2018.
That's tough to beat, though.
No. I thought the music was I was waiting for the music to get going because he is such a beautiful, artistic poser. I was kind of expecting it to build to something
more dramatic would have been good. Yeah, I agree.
I want to see that, that survival one he posed to 2018. That is just, thing is, he set the standard now for posing. So, he's just a joy to see. The way he angles his body. He's just, I love that one with the Ben Fatto pose with the fist. Man. And the frontal bicep, the way he tilts his body. He's absolutely incredible. And like you said, I do believe he could win the Olympia one day.
Terrence, I hope you watch this because I want you to bring back that Survivor song. Maybe you can tweak the routine around, but there's nothing. You don't have to have a different song every time. Come back with that one. We loved it. That was one of the best routines I've ever seen. So that brings us to the winner. Another Neil Hill client, along with Steve Loris, was Alex Cambronero, Feo Cambronero. Former 212. He won 6 shows as a 212. So he was very good. 6, yeah. So he was actually very good in that division. But, when Classic came along after a couple of years, he decided, let me try this. And obviously it was the right choice for him. He gets a little bit of a knock sometimes as just being more of a bodybuilder who happens to have very small joints and a very small waist. But, you don't win the Arnold Classic without having the classic physique, without having a lot of strong points behind you.
Well, that gamble obviously paid off because I just interviewed him and he said that it was Neil Hill that kind of encouraged him. See, the thing is, if you're doing so well in one category and someone tries to convince you to go into a different category, it's like Coelho when she was in figure. She was winning. She won 4 pro shows. So when you've got people that are doing, competitors that are doing very well in one category, it's a huge leap of faith, especially with the trust he must have in his coach to be able to do that. So and to be honest, tonight, he's one of those guys that you thought he was peaked perfectly. He was polished. His tan was perfect. His condition, top to toe. Like sometimes you'll get guys with competitors with one area that's very well conditioned, but he was consistently conditioned, top to toe, side to side. And for me, yes, I agree with the win. I thought he was a clear winner tonight, and he held his peak perfectly.
So congratulations, Alex. Only going to talk about 2 people in fitness. Very competitive. Was Kate third? Kate Arrington?
She didn't place.
She didn't place? Wow. Okay. So I'm only going to talk about the top 2. Ariel Kader. Sorry, Ariel. I love you, but your last name's it's rough for me. Man, she always has phenomenal routines. Very petite girl. I believe she's like 4'10", which that extra points I say. But always phenomenal routines. Very positive energy. She's just a joy to watch. Ariel, fan?
Yeah, I am a fan. She's a fantastic routine, good high energy, good kind of good vibe. I was very impressed with her. Yes.
Yeah. And that takes us to the winner, Missy.
Sorry, one second. I'd like to give a special mention to Dorina Wilson, who came back after, she had a couple of years out because she had mastectomy. Yeah, she had, so it's in her routine. I think probably along with Missy's was my favorite for the night.
Yeah. Now, Missy, I watched the physique round earlier today, the judging along with you, and I said, physique-wise, she's on a different level from these other girls. She's just fantastic. So I said, if she has a good routine, it's lights out. And sure enough, she pulled out a great routine. You've had her on MD Global Muscle a couple times now.
Yeah,
so, you and AJ can take credit for discovering this.
Missy fanboys all the way. Sorry, we're Missy fan. she is absolutely, I was alerted to her and, and obviously we had her on the show. We formed a bit of a bond with her and, you follow her and I was waving to her on stage. But she, for me, do you know what I'm really excited about?
No. Tell me.
Missy versus Oksana at the Olympia. That, to be honest, that alone is going to be worth the ticket price at the Olympia, just to see those two. They're so good. They're so good to see those two, because doesn't Oksana prep Missy and help her?
I don't know, but
that's going to be interesting. But Missy, for me, she had the best physique. A routine it blew my mind. Yeah. It blew my mind. People were gasping.
They were.
Love you, Missy.
And Oksana, I believe, retired a couple years ago at the Olympia, but so much for that.
Yeah,
okay, so figure international. I was a little surprised. I had Jessica Reyes Padilla. I'm just a big fan. I think she's got a great look, a great presentation. That walk she does, it's like a prance or a stalk around the stage. I had her winning, but third place, nothing too shabby about that. What do you think kept her out of the winner's circle today?
I have no clue. I'm thinking maybe, judging by the size of Soltero, the winner, I'm thinking maybe she was a little bit too big. Like shoulders and arms were a little bit bigger this year. Right. I have seen a lower body sharper, so there was a bit of discrepancy in her conditioning. And she was very shaky on her feet when she wasn't walking. I mean, when she's walking, she owns that stage. Right. Like you said, she's like a panther.
Yes.
So to me, I had Jessica winning. I was quite surprised by that result, but.
Runner-up, Bojana Vasiljevic. Great for her. She's making her way up the ranks.
Very good.
Very good. And the winner, Natalia Soltero from Mexico. Great look. I mean, you can't argue with that. Natalia looked great.
Yeah, I liked it, but I didn't see that one coming.
Okay.
She was top. I had a top 3.
Last division to talk about is women's physique. In third place, Margita Zamolova. Great look, another poster girl for the women's physique division. As you were watching and judging today, did you think that's about where she was going to place?
I had Margita second, a clear second. I've been following Margita for a couple of years. She actually beat my ex-partner at the time at the London Pro. Okay. So if it wasn't for Margita, my partner would have done the 2018 Olympia. So for me, Margita, she's so consistent with her conditioning. I mean, third, it's not too shabby. But I personally had her and Natalia the top 2.
So second place was Anne-Lorraine Mohn from France. Tremendous shoulders, great V-taper. I think we both had the same critique of her as we'd like to see more leg development. I just didn't see that real balance and flow from upper to lower body with her. But obviously the judges saw something they liked.
Her conditioning was absolutely superb, but for me, I think she needs to address some balance issues in her physique. Yeah. I felt like her shoulders were a little bit too big and her legs needed a little bit more size. But I mean, her conditioning was absolutely out of this world, and she presents a very feminine, pretty face. She's a new face, so I was excited to see her up there. It was nice to see these new kind of, and I could tell by the judging she was in the mix for the top 3.
Yeah, and condition in women's physique is kind of a tricky subject because theoretically they're not supposed to be shredded with the glute striations and all that.
They say they're not supposed to have striations, but I mean, all those girls up there had striations.
I mean, if you show up without them, you're not going to place. So,
yeah, you're not going to. For the last 3 years, it's been like that.
And the winner, 2 years in a row, Natalia Abraham Coelho, 23 years old, 24?
I think she's been 23 for about 3 years.
She's been 23 for a while, but man, it was, pretty much everybody that was watching today, either on our Instagram, on the live stream, or no, there was no one in the audience, sorry, except for us, the press. Very clear-cut winner. She brought exactly the package she needed to bring, and she's getting better and better. I'm excited for this girl in the future.
This was a very different package. She was lean, but she wasn't Natalia lean. She was a little bit softer from the back, which maybe was a look that she deliberately went for. Personally, I think this is her best look she's ever brought. Yeah. I think in terms of her physique, before she seemed very rib cagey. I'm trying to think of a better, but not rib cagey.
I'm stealing that.
But she seems to have her shape seems to have more of a V shape to her physique now, and a sort of a taper. So for me, this was an absolutely stunning look, and I think she's really going to give Shanique hell at the Olympia. Yeah, I think.
Keep in mind, she was a figure competitor not too long ago.
Yes, she was a figure, but she won 4 pro shows, and then eventually in 2018, I believe it was, she switched to because 2017. She was figure at the Olympia. She took 16th place.
I think she turned pro at 18 years old.
Wow, why don't she be competing since she was 16?
Yeah, something ridiculous like that. So that was the 4 divisions that we covered tonight. Tomorrow there's going to be judging in finals for the remaining divisions, which are pro wheelchair, men's physique, women's bikini, and of course the Arnold Classic. Can't forget that. The big one. So stay here on musculardevelopment.com. Check out our Muscular Development YouTube channel. On musculardevelopment.com, on the Noble Forum, we have play-by-play, we have interviews, we have videos, we have call-out videos, contest photos from Jason Breeze, all kinds of great content. Stay right here on musculardevelopment.com all weekend. We're going to bring you the coverage. We'll be back tomorrow with the remaining divisions of this Arnold Sports Festival. So for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.